Okay, I don't see them.
Mute. No, it's not usually. They didn't send that box today. When you have that box, it works better.
We can hear and see you.
Okay,
Wow.
okay. And I can see you and hear you.
Yes,
So
okay.
we are done. Shalom Aleichem.
Aleichem Shalom.
Aleichem Shalom.
All right. So I started this morning to look where we're up to and what we already discussed. And I was thinking that in a certain principle that we have not yet reached in our discussion. Here from Amuna. On top of page Kuf Nun Vov, the Rebbe says, it's still going over from the previous page. And the Shomesh Yisrael, a mushrosh in the Lakus, and therefore, they see the truth of the Lakus out of Shabbat. So the mile of this is actually connected to Atzmus. That's all. And the Mata, it comes out in the form of Amunah. The principles that I felt that needs to be brought out is that Emunah is a presence in the human thought, knowledge, awareness in a different way than everything else that he knows and he is aware of. The difference is very simple, as profound as it is. All human knowledge are things that he, excuse me, discovers and recognizes through his inquiry, either his experience or his seichel and so forth. Amunah is a completely different reality. Amunah is that which is put into him from above. Just like the Neshama is something that is given to him, he does not experience getting the Neshama. We can elaborate on this, but just for the moment, that should be sufficient. The same is the inner from Emunah. Emunah is not something that one acquires and senses the fact that he got something. Emunah is something which is given to him without any effort on his part at all. And this is the Rebbe goes into from Mazel to explain to us that not only are we born with Emunah, but we recognize that Emunah precedes our very own being. We know of Elokus before we know of ourselves. That's Emunah. This knowing of Elokus is not an identifiable knowledge. I know this is Elokus. It is knowing the reality itself. Everything experiences the reality. And from this reality, everything else is drawn and emanates. One can identify various things and so forth as he experiences this reality. Reality, we have to define reality to ourselves because we are, so to speak, in the physical world. Physical world puts a big question. Where does this come from? What kind of entity is this? And the reason that we have these questions, and we need to verify and so forth, is due to the unique nature of the physical phenomenon. And that is, the physical phenomenon is such that we identify, we actually experience two states of this presence. We can see it and not see it. We can touch it, we can not touch it. We can identify with it, we can ignore it. That is true only on the physical level. The neshama reality, and even in the physical world, as we spoke many times, in the physical world itself, there is that which we are aware of the overall presence of the space itself that encompasses the whole world. As we said many times, we cannot project, conceptualize that space doesn't exist. Space has not come into being in our experience. Space is the statement the divine statement that there is a real world. And this real world is a divine creation. This is why it's real. It is not something that the world discovers. It is something that the Rebbe gives it. And the physical, and this is so real that even in the physical realm, there is this aspect of a true presence. A presence that cannot be denied, that cannot be conceptualized of not being. So here's what the Rebbe says, really something quite phenomenal. The Rebbe says that we see the world. It cannot be anything more convincing, more clear than the fact that you see it. And the Rebbe says, no, that's not the end of the story. We actually know things at a much deeper and higher level than even the fact that we see it. And this is called emunah. Emunah is a sense of knowledge that the Rebbe himself puts into us. He does not come through any kind of experience on any level, not even sight. And I want to start inside on page Kuf Nun Bob. And we'll start the second line, and then the third line, the Rebbe immediately changes what he said. The Rebbe said like this: Toikev ha'amunah pshuta b'neshamas Yisrael. Toikev means the unquestioned reality, the strength, the convincing emunah pshuta. Emunah pshuta of the simple emunah. And again, the word pshuta means something that does not go through the process of acquisition. It's something which is simple, which means it cannot be not be. It cannot not be known. The reason that there is this emunah pshuta, and it is with great power and great conviction, who, in the middle of the line, mashur the mazle chozer. It is because mazle chozer. In other words, this is something which he knows before he opens his eyes. Mazle means this precedes his experience of being. This is the way the neshama is l'mayla. Before he opens his eyes, he already knows this. Mazle chozi, shaharei hu roye amitus hadoba. This is why there is toikif, there is a power of emunah pshuta. Power means insistent, unquestioned, impossible to budge. That's why toikif. Because it is mazle chozi. And what's mazle chozi? Shaharei hu roye amitus hadoba. Let me explain what is the additional here. Because he sees the truth of this. And this is where the Toikev Amudah comes. Because of mazle chozi. What is the difference whether it is mazle chozi or you see it with your physical eyes? And this is the point here. Physical eyes provide an experience of sight, which immediately, as it provides sight, along with that, it provides with the ability of not to see it. In other words, it is there because you see it. It is there because you see it, not because it is there, but because you see it. This is what the Rebbe says. The second line from the top. Toikev ha'amun pshuta b'nisov Yisrael. Where is this toikev, the power, the insistence, the unquestioned amun pshuta of simple amun b'nisov Yisrael? It is not because they see with their eyes, but b'shum the mazlechozi. Mazlech is the mazlech of the neshama. In other words, they see it before the neshama comes into being. This is a sight which is not the experience of sight. And this is what the Rebbe says at the end of that line. Sheharei hu roya. It has a toikev emunah. Why is it toikev emunah? Because sheharei hu roya, because he sees. Roya is not enough. Amit is hadover. This roya, amit hadover, is a very special emphasis. When we see a physical, I explain the meaning or the word read reya amitis adov. He sees the thing, which means he sees amitis adov. In Mazli Chosi, he does not see something that is visible. He sees it because it's true, not because he sees it. And this is Pshat Mazli Chosi. Mazli Chosi means that it's something which is seen by the neshama before the neshama comes into being. The source of the neshama. The source of the neshama, there he sees not what is visible to the neshama, but he sees Amitis Adova, the way the thing is true unto itself. Roya Amitis Adova. So this really demands a discussion. What does it mean, Roya Amitis Adova? He sees the thing. And he says, the Mazlei is a take of Amunah because he sees Amitis Adova. He doesn't just see it, he sees it as a truth. What does it mean he sees it as a truth? How do we, when we see something in our experience of sight, how do we know, what does it mean I see it as a truth? We have this kind of experience even in our world. For example, you see a tree. And you see it, you have no doubt about it. Does this sight of the tree tells you the truth of the world? Amit is the truth about the world. It's not true. The world could be with and without the tree. So the tree does not tell you the truth of what you see. You see a tree, but this is a very finite, limited sight, limited significance. Amit is seeing the reality of the world itself. The tree does not present to you the reality of the world itself. Where do we have the experience of seeing Amitis Adom? This is where the neshama sees things from above the mitzvahs. Mazdachot. From there, from that perch, that vantage point, he sees that, you know something, it's not only that I see it, but this is really the truth. What is the truth that you see beyond sight, but you see it as a truth? What is the truth? So again, at our level, like we always say, we open our eyes and we look up into open space, into the horizon. That sighting is not like you see something that exists. You see the reality itself. In our world, in our experience, this is like saying Amisa Doba, seeing the truth of the world itself. When we see the truth of the world, we do not see it because we identify its borders. When it starts, when it ends, and therefore that convinces us that we're seeing something. We see it without borders. If you see it without borders, how do you see it? We see that it's true. This is where we have a physical experience of something that's called truth. Not something that comes into being, that makes us see, but yeah, this is real. This is real. This level of sight, it's an interesting thing. You look into this space, I'm using this as a muscle to explain the words in the mind. You look into the space. You can't define anything that you see. And yet, you say, I see it. I see reality. If you can't define what you're seeing, what do you mean you see it? The truth is, and here's the principle over here. The truth is that when we look into space and we see that this is real, it's real not because we see it at all. It is real because we know that it's real. This is what we call the emunah, it's a nefesh. So the nefesh knows that there is this truth. And from this emunah, this is how come you see this open space. It is not the sight that brings it to you, that convinces you. You know it before you see it. Sight gives you, connects you to that which you know. Aha, this is the reality. But sight is not what brings it to you. This is what the Rebbe says. He says the truth of the thing. Sight is not the truth. Sight is what is visible. But Mazel Chosin, at the level of Mazel, he sees Amitzvah, he sees the truth of it. Not because he sees it, because he experiences it, but he sees the truth. He sees how it is the truth. What is the definition of Amitzvah, the truth? The truth of it. The truth is something which precedes completely the worldly state. World is a created entity. World by definition is not the truth. It's a created entity, it's a temporary being. Seeing that truth means you see the truth as it is because it's true, not because it's being created and shown to you. This is what the Rebbe says. The Neshama, Lamaila sees, the Mother Neshama sees, Amitzvah Dover see the things, how it is on the truth, on the divine level of truth, not on the created level of truth. The way it is true from Mabeshin's perspective, perception. We're not finished with it, but just this is the first step to make us aware that real seeing of the truth is not seeing what you see. It is seeing combined with your emunah to know that there is a creator, that there is truth to what you see. It doesn't, not the sight that convinces you of it. But you see beyond that which is visible. You know that that which you see is true beyond the visible conviction. How do you see beyond the visible conviction? The answer is, and here's what the Rebbe says, the real experience of sight is not what you see with your eyes. It is what the Neshama sees l'mayla. Mazle shal kosu. The Neshama sees it the way it is l'mayla on the level of mazel. This is what brings the reality of the world to you. This is where emunah is rooted. This is where there's emunah pshuto. And I explained the other way, the other day, pshuto was meant emunah pshuto. Emunah pshuto. Pshuto means simple. Simple means you did not go through the process of getting there. What do we know without going through the process of getting there? This is what we know. This is the mazel. This is what the neshama knows before it comes out into the world. The neshama is one with the lakus.
So simple here means not process?
Yes. Not simple become means, yes, simple means not process. Simple means it means like this. Not process. If it's not process, so then how do you know? You can't prove it to yourself. How do you know? What kind of knowledge is it? The answer is you see it at its pshitus level. You see amitis adover. You see the very truth of it.
Was space the mashal for this? The way that space is space, we spoke about seeing space or taking space for granted. Was this the mashal for this level of knowing?
That's right. However, it's only a mashal.
Okay.
It's only a muscle to identify this concept on a physical level, but it's not the truth itself.
Right.
So this is what the meaning of the words Rabbi Mazachos Shaharehu Roya. They say in the end of the second line on top. Shaharehu Roya. The Stoic Amun has a convincing element of Amun, because Mazachos Shaharehu Roya Amitza Dova, because there he sees, not he sees what is visible. This is the it's not he sees what is visible. He sees the truth of it. What is the truth of anything? The truth of it is, of anything is the divine element of it. The truth of anything is how it exists prior to being created in the world. Once it's created in the world, then it acquires already, so to speak, a worldly presence. And worldly presence means it is present because it has a certain service, a certain function. This is what makes us recognize it. This is not seeing Amitis Ador. This is seeing things in a very relative sense in terms of what is its function. Seeing Amitis Ador is seeing its truth without relating to any function. I know it not because it has this effect upon me or my experience of my life. It is seeing the truth of it beyond human experience. This is called the Emunah Pshut. Yidden have Emunah Pshuta. In other words, they have Emunah prior to them coming, being entities, prior to them experiencing themselves. Pshuto. Pshuto means that which is not coming to any kind of experience. That which is there, not defined by experience or by function, but the reality itself, the divine truth. That's Emunah Pshut. This is why there is Emunah Pshuta. Emunah, unquestioned Emunah. Emunah which is possible, which means it has no basis for substantiation. How come I see it? And the Rebbe says at the end of that line, at the end of the second line, this is what the Rebbe is explaining. Sees not behold, he sees the truth of it. Once he sees the truth of it, then its substantiation is totally superfluous. Substantiation, proof is valuable. It comes into play when you see something which is precarious, which could be and not be. But when you see the truth itself, then substantiation is totally superfluous. You see it beyond not only the news, beyond substantiation. You see it the way it is in the truth itself. Once we come to these words, it behooves us to stop for a moment and reflect to ourselves. What is this amitador? What is this truth that you say, I see the truth? In other words, I see the truth, not relative to anything else, not by its effect, but the truth itself. What is the truth? And this is where we brought, so to speak, face to face with the divine truth. Divine truth means godly truth. This godly truth, awareness, this precedes any of our intellectual experiences. It's the purest neshama message. Neshama is life. As we said the other day, life does not have a presence and non-presence. Amita Dod is the purest neshama message. This is called Amita Zadok. Not that it is true, but the truth of it. What is a truth? A truth is only a divine, only God. This is what the Rambam starts in his Sefer. The first words in the Rambam is, he said, what is the principle of all principles? It is to know that there is a first being. What is this knowledge of a first being? How does that bring the world to you? How does that help you in knowing your life and knowing your world? This knowledge of the first being is telling you that there is such a thing as a mitzvah as a truth. Everything that we know is not a truth. It's a relative presence. But the real knowledge of the neshama is roya amitis adom, not seeing it, but seeing its truth. And this is what the Rambam says. The first principle is to know that there is a first being. What's a first being? Where is it found coming from? What's his function? A first being means the truth of existence. This is a principle. Amud HaChochmas, the pillar of Chochmas. What opens up our neshama to us? So that we can see things on the neshama level. It is to know that there is a first being. That this which we find out, that which we know, is not because we discover it, because we experience its presence. What we know is because this is a first being. And we know it because it's a first being. Of course it cannot not be known. This is how come we know it. This is the beginning of wisdom. And this is what Emunah Pshuta is based on. Because Roya means that nobody sees truth per se. Not true, proven, but truth. Something that defies the need of the proof. This, the Rebbe says, in the neshama here lamato, the neshama as it is in the guf, expresses itself in the form of emunah. Where in emunah do we have this kind of expression? In the fact that it is emunah pshuto, and it is toikev emunah. Toikev emunah means emunah that is not budgeable. You cannot budget, you cannot question it. This toikev emunah is an allusion, it's connecting it to the truth of it itself, which is why it has a strength. Because you go beyond, above discovered knowledge, or knowledge per se. You go to the state where it is prior to being known, prior to being. It's a must be. It's a truth. This is what the neshama sees the Ma'ira. He sees Mazal, he sees a truth. A divine truth. I don't know what okay, I just want to start the next line so that this will bring us into the next step.
Yeah.
So go. What is it, Rebbe?
9 o'clock.
Oh, no, I still have 5 minutes. Okay, no problem. I want to start the next line.
We have another 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yesh Leimer. Yesh Leimer is an expression that you find in the Rebbe's Maimonim very often. What Yesh Leimer means, it could be said. In our terminology, it's conceivable. It's conceivable. Why do they say Yesh Leimer? It could be said. And is it so or is it not so? What is that Yesh Leimer? The answer, the reason of this expression, Yesh Leimer, as I understand it anyway, is that really we are talking about a level, a concept, a principle that cannot be expressed, cannot be thought of, it certainly cannot be expressed in words. Therefore, if I want to convey it in words, I say, it's as if to say, although I cannot really convey it in words, but in, so to speak, in precarious words, in words, an elusive words. Everyone knows what elusive means. A remes, an elusive word, this is how I would say it. I cannot say it in full, to the fullest, this final fullest, but I can allude to it. This is what we are saying. Yesh Leimer. It is conceivable. It is possible to say The shoresh emunah, that the root of the emunah. Again, shoresh means where it grows out from. What gives it a presence? Just as we said before, we spoke about the tree has a root. The root of the tree is not where it comes from. The root of the tree is what makes the tree live. The shoresh emunah means what is the life element of the emunah? What makes emunah real? What makes it continue to live after I expressed it? Shoresh emunah. He's even beyond higher than the bechina of mazel. What is the bechina of mazel? So the mazel bechina we have identified in the previous line. Roya mitis adov. In the mazel he sees the not that it is true, the truth of it. The truth of it means how it is true unto itself, not how it convinces me, but how it is really the truth itself, the divine truth. Shoresh emunah, the root of emunah, that emunah, even have emunah in the neshama, is even higher than the of mazel. Mazel, we said, is how the neshama sees things from above world. We see Amitzis Adov. He sees the truth of the truth. What can be higher than that? He sees the truth. Again, not that this is true, but the truth of it itself. So what can be higher than that? Before we go to how it can be higher than that, what's missing in this? What's wrong with what you have? Why go higher? He sees it. So what are you looking for? He said, no, yesh loimer. The shoresh emunah, the root, the life force of emunah is even ma'ila me'bchinas mazel. It's higher than the bechina of mazel. Why do we say, and why can it be said? What makes us possibly look for and see that there is something higher than Memcheres Mazel? Sheharei, since that, Beriyo, that in sight, Yesh Gam Ken Chiluke Madrege. Sight also allows for different madreges. In other words, to us, when you say, I see it, that's the end of the debate. I see it. But the Rebbe says, please understand, in sight, there's also different madreges. Shilukim madreges. Let's discuss this a little bit. Just to demonstrate the concept on a very simple experiential level. You see a table standing, and you see the board standing in place. You see, if you see the board, but you have no access to see the legs that support it, that sight is precarious. You have not seen the table in its true, convincing presence. You're seeing it after the fact. And therefore the question is, how did the fact come to be? What's holding it up? So therefore we see clearly that even in sight, there are different chinukim madrigas. A madriga where you see not only you see the fact that it's standing, but you see the truth of it. That this is not only standing a factual standing, but it has to stand. That's a completely different sight. And this is what the Rebbe says. The year inside there is also Chilukim Madrigas. Emunah does not have any kind of precarious level in it. This is that's called Toikevu Emunah. Toikevu Emunah means a power in Emunah that breaks all barriers. Where do we see that Eden have Toikevu Emunah? Power of Emunah? Rahman al-Islam, we see this when Eden are ready to give their lives for their Emunah. Then you see the power, the Toikev. The Toikev of the Emunah. The steadfastness. That which does not allow for possibility of question. It's beyond the level of proof, of substantiation. It's amit is adover, it's seeing the truth itself. Not that it is true, but the truth itself. Okay, here, since we're almost up to time, I just have to add a word or two about amit is adover. What it means, the truth of something. The truth, truth exists only in the Creator. Hashem Elikim Emes. This is what Ram says. Hashem Elikim Emes. Hashem is Emes. What does it mean Hashem is Emes? Of course Hashem is Emes. There are many things that are true. Yes, Hashem Elikim Emes. This is the exclusive Emes. Who levado Emes and Emes kamitose. There's no other truth similar to his truth. This is what Emes. Emes, in this context, is a completely different meaning than in normal verbiage. This Emes means amit, the truth, the very truth itself. This, it brings us face to face, and it arouses in us a thought. Is there such a thing as a truth? In our thinking process, we don't know what truth, we know of what's true. One thing more true than the other. Truth is an neshama knowledge. Truth is not a worldly knowledge. we are blessed with the experience of truth, and this is what's called the koyach ha-chochma. In chochma, we experience a sense of truth. This is why chochma is referred to as a godly quality, and this in chochma is emes. Truth, as we said before, truth is a super worldly reality. It's a divine reality. It's only divine. Hashem Elokim emes, hu lebado emes, ve'in emes kan mitosim. There's no emes like his emes. This is what's called emes. Not an emes that can be relative to other things. It is the truth itself. This is something very new in our concept. Is it such thing as truth? What is the meaning of truth? And here's what we said before. Gracious bodily kim the Shemayim. God created gracious in the beginning. There was no solicitation for it, no reason for it. It's a divine truth that He wanted to create a world. There's no worldly reason for it being created. This is what the Gemara says. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had the desire to create the world. The world represents HaKadosh desire, not any kind of a need, any kind of demand, necessity, cause. The world represents the Mevash's desire to create a world. This is what makes the world so real. Because it represents something higher than world completely, higher than creation. It's a divine will. As such, there's nothing, no weakness to it. It's toikif, it's as powerful as it can possibly be. This is it, right? Time-wise.
It's time to hang up.
Huh?
You're 8 minutes over.
All right. So here's where we're going to interrupt till next time.